Today, we're going to pop the hood and take a look at your body's engine, your metabolism. We're going to break down how it works, what happens when things go wrong, and most importantly, how you can get behind the wheel.
I mean, really think about it. From running a marathon to just dreaming at night, what's the power source for all of that? It's not magic, that's for sure. It's this incredibly complex, finely tuned chemical system that's firing on all cylinders inside you right this second.
And that system, well, that's your metabolism. Just think of it like your body's own personal engine. It takes the fuel you give it, all the food you eat, and it converts it into the raw energy that powers every single cell. And just like any engine, when there's a problem, the whole system can get thrown completely out of whack.
So let's start with one of the most common engine issues out there, a problem managing fuel. Specifically, sugar. And that brings us right to our first major topic, diabetes. Okay, so diabetes isn't just one thing. It comes in two main flavors, and they're caused by totally different mechanical failures. With type 1, the body's insulin factory, that's the pancreas, it just stops making enough of this crucial hormone called insulin. It is literally a production problem. But with type 2, the factor is working, maybe even overtime, but the body's cells, they've just stopped listening to the insulin. We call that insulin resistance, which makes it a usage problem.
And because the root causes are so different, the warning lights on your body's dashboard are going to look different too. With type 1, since the cells are basically starving for sugar, the body goes into panic mode and starts burning fat and muscle for fuel like crazy. That causes really rapid weight loss. But with type 2, the body's resistance to insulin often leads to weight gain, and the other symptoms can creep up much slower.
Now, both types can share these three classic signs, which doctors sometimes call the 3 Ps. So what's actually happening here? Well, when there's way too much sugar in your blood, your body tries to flush it out through your kidneys. That's polyuria, or frequent urination. Of course, losing all that fluid makes you incredibly thirsty. That's polydipsia. And because your cells still aren't getting the glucose energy they desperately need, your brain thinks you're starving, which triggers this intense, extreme hunger, and that's polyphagia.
The risk factors also tell very different stories. Type 1 often has a genetic component and can even be triggered by something like a past viral infection, and it usually shows up in younger people. For type 2, on the other hand, while family history does play a part, the biggest risk factors are usually related to lifestyle, things like obesity and not getting enough physical activity, especially as we get older.
Okay, let's shift gears. We're moving from the fuel system to another critical part of the engine, the control panel. If your metabolism is the engine, then the thyroid gland is the thermostat that controls how fast or how slow it runs.
And there it is. This small, butterfly-shaped gland sits right at the base of your neck. It might look small, but its job is absolutely huge. It's responsible for making the hormones that tell every single cell in your body how much energy to burn at any given moment. So when this thermostat breaks, your engine can either run way too hot or it can run way too cold. Hyperthyroidism means there's way too much hormone, and everything, speeds up. On the flip side, hypothyroidism is when there's too little hormone, and everything just slows way down.
And here's a really striking visual of what can happen when that engine is just running red hot. This condition is called exophthalmos, and it's a classic sign of something called Graves' disease. That's an autoimmune disorder where your own immune system accidentally attacks your thyroid, causing it to just go into complete overdrive. The tissues behind the eyes get all inflamed, which pushes the eyes forward.
Another visible sign is a goiter, which is really just an enlarged thyroid gland. And this can happen for totally opposite reasons. In hyperthyroidism, the gland might be swollen because it's just overactive. But in hypothyroidism, it can actually get bigger as it's struggling and straining to produce enough hormone. Either way, it's a sign that the regulator itself is under a lot of stress.
Okay, so we've looked at some of the problems. Now let's talk about the solutions. Because the great news here is that for a lot of these metabolic disorders, whether it's managing blood sugar or balancing thyroid hormones, you can absolutely get into the driver's seat and take control of the system.
And the foundation for managing your fuel is, well, it's the fuel itself. This quote from our source material just says it all. For diabetes, controlling what you eat isn't just a nice idea, it's the fundamental piece of the whole treatment plan. It's all about giving the engine the right kind and the right amount of fuel that it knows how to handle.
You really can't manage what you don't measure. And that's why tools like this glucometer are so incredibly important. Checking your blood sugar regularly is just like checking the fuel gauge in your car. It gives you the data you need to make smart decisions about food, exercise, and medication every single day.
Taking control is really all about knowledge. It's about learning these essential skills: how to manage what you eat, how to check your blood sugar, and even simple things like proper foot care, which is so important for people with diabetes. Knowing what to do on sick days and how to find support just empowers you to handle whatever life throws your way.
And you know, part of that plan is being prepared for the unexpected. A medical alert bracelet is such a simple, low-tech tool, but it can literally be a lifesaver. In an emergency, it speaks for you when you can't, and it tells first responders exactly what they need to know to give you the right care right away.
Let's actually walk through one of those emergencies: low blood sugar or hypoglycemia. The plan is really simple and super effective. Step 1, get some sugar into the system and fast. Think juice, candy, or glucose tablets. Step 2, wait 15 minutes and then check again. Step 3, once those levels are starting to come up, follow up with a snack that has some protein or fat to keep things stable. It's clear, it's actionable, and it saves lives.
So, you see, whether we're talking about a fuel management issue like diabetes or a regulator problem with the thyroid, it all comes back to the same core principle. The more you understand how your own personal engine works, the more power you have to keep it running smoothly for the long haul.
Your body sends you signals all the time, through your energy levels, your weight, your thirst. These are all messages coming straight from the engine room. So the question I want to leave you with is this: your metabolism is talking. Are you listening?